Hello everyone! Let's talk about some of my favorite chick flicks, rom-coms, whatever you want to call them. So, you guys know I love romantic reads, romantic anything. That also translates into movies. My favorite genre of movies is probably rom-coms. I am just a sucker for them. I watch them if I'm having a bad day, if I'm not feeling well, if I need to pick me up, if I'm happy. I just watch rom-coms anytime. I just love them. I adore them. I have some favorite ones. So this list was just really hard to comprise. Like, goodness me. There's just some of my favorites. You're also going to see a lot of older ones, such as like kind of early 2000s, 90s, stuff like that. That is my gem of like favorite rom-coms. That is just an era that I love. That's where I think the best rom-coms got made, is like 90s, 2000s. That's just in my opinion, like early 2000s. I don't feel like they've been that amazing lately. That's just, again, my opinion. But yeah, these are going to be, my favorite. They may be different than yours. There's a lot of movies I didn't put on here because I didn't feel like they were rom-coms that, like kind of chick flicks, things like that. But yeah, these are just my favorite. And again, like I said, you might have different tastes. You might think they're not good. These are mine. These are just my all-time favorites. So just be aware of that. That's my disclaimer. You may not agree with these. Disclaimer. So I do want to talk about 3 honorable mentions that I really enjoy, and I guess you could make it my top 13 favorite rom-coms of all time. So my honorable mentions, Girls Trip. I love this one. I don't really classify it a ton as a rom-com or as a chick flick, I would say, but I just still love it. It's hilarious. It's funny. It makes me laugh. It's got Jada Pinkett Smith in it. It's got Queen Latifah, Tiffany Haddish. It is hilarious. It's like one of those kind of movies where like, Murphy's Law, where if it can go bad, it'll go bad, but it's just a fun time and I love it. Another one I didn't put on my list that I still really enjoy is To All the Boys I've Loved Before. This was a Netflix original. It was based on the book and I thought it was so sweet, so adorable. I'm so excited for the sequel coming out. Oh man, it's sweet and it's adorable, again, as I just said. And the last one that I want to talk about, my honorable mention, is Crazy Rich Asians. I didn't feel like I could put it on my top 10 because I haven't read the book and I don't want to read the book. I love the movie and I thought it was a great movie with just epic romance and things like that. But yeah, those are my 3 honorable mentions that I still really love and wanted to recommend to you. Going in now to my top 10. Like I said, this list was really hard. Coming in at number 10 is Bridget Jones' Diary. Bridget Jones' Diary is going to be a movie you either hate or you love. I really enjoy it. The first one is my favorite. I don't really like the second one. I don't really like the third one. I feel like the first one is just amazing. It's about Bridget Jones. It's based on a book, which I haven't read the book, which I don't know why to put Crazy Rich Asians. Anyway, Bridget Jones, and she meets a couple guys and kind of a love triangle happens and it's her working on herself. It's a British comedy. It's hilarious. I love it. I think Renee Zellweger does great as Bridget Jones and it's just a funny one. I love watching this one kind of in winter time because it takes place in the beginning of Christmas, kind of ends in Christmas, and it's just an amazing one. It's hilarious. And number 9 is I combine 2 movies into the slot. Why? There's no good reason for it. I just did it. And the first one is Fever Pitch. Fever Pitch is one that is not a lot of people's favorite, and I can understand why. It's not like one of the best, but I just really like it because I love Jimmy Fallon. I've always loved Jimmy Fallon since SNL. I don't watch every night Jimmy Fallon because I don't have time, but I don't know why I love Jimmy Fallon. And he's in the movie with Drew Barrymore. He's obsessed with the Boston Red Sox. They start a relationship, things like that. It's kind of has that baseball thing, which I love baseball, so I like it. It's not like the best of the best, but it's just a feel-good movie that I love, and of course, baseball. I also combine this slot with Clueless. Clueless, oh my gosh, I love Clueless. I mean, just Alicia Silverstone, baby Paul Rudd, Brittany Murphy. I mean, it's just an amazing movie. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's just, Clueless is an epic 90s movie. If you haven't seen Clueless, what are you doing? Moving on to number 8 is a movie that I don't think would be on a lot of people's top 10 rom-coms, and that is 2 Weeks Notice. This one stars Sandra Bullock and Hugh Grant. I love this one. I love a lot of workplace rom-coms where, somebody starts working and it's in the workplace. I like those for some reason. Those are some of my favorite. 2 Weeks Notice is about Sandra Bullock, who becomes assistant to Hugh Grant, and, feelings emerge by the very end, and it's just hilarious. Hugh Grant is just a very, spoiled guy that has helicopters helicopters and things like that. And Sandra Bullock really wants to petition to help save the city's like monuments, to save the city's like city center and things like that. They're very, very different people, but they work together and it's just hilarious. And like I said, there are just some of these movies that I've just watched so many times that I just love, and they're just my go-to watch movies. Do I think they're amazing, like cinematic masterpieces? No, but they're feel good and I love them and they always make me smile, and 2 Weeks Notice is one of them. Again, I don't hear like anybody ever talk about 2 Weeks Notice. I like it. I think it's hilarious. I'm a big Sandra Bullock fan. And number 7 is another classic. I want to say this came out early 2000s, maybe late 90s. I'm not sure. Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore. Goodness me. I adore this movie. It's all about Drew Barrymore, who is a reporter, and basically they send her back to high school to like get the information about the kids, and so she has to pose as like a high school senior, and she starts to have feelings for her English teacher, but you know, of course it's like, you know, he doesn't know I'm really like of legal age, so it's kind of rocky, nothing like promiscuous happens or anything like that, but it's a funny movie. It's got David Arquette in it. It's got a whole bunch of other people that are amazing in it that I love. It's just a great rom-com. Like I always say with these aren't cinematic masterpieces. Will any of these ever win Oscars, or did they ever? No, they didn't, but you know, rom-coms are just feel-good movies. And Never Been Kissed makes me feel good. Number 6 is Bring It On. I think this would probably be on a lot of people's lists. Bring It On is the quintessential cheerleader movie. Everybody loves Bring It On. Kristen Dunst. I originally got into Bring It On because of, not even Kristen Dunst, because of Elijah Dushku, who is one of the characters in it. She was in Buffy. I love Buffy. Bring It On is about, you know, high school senior Torrance, Kristen Dunst, who becomes the captain of their cheerleader squad, and she learns that their former captain has stolen all of like their cheer routines from another opposing high school, and the high school knows about it, and they're gonna like fight and do things, and you know, it's all about them and their cheerleading squad routine. And of course Kristen Dunst starts falling for Elijah Dushku's brother, Jesse Bradford, I believe, and it's just a great one. I mean, goodness me, if you've watched Cheer, the Netflix original, and haven't somehow watched Bring It On yet, you need to watch it. Bring It On is just a classic cheerleading movie. It shows, that first showed me that cheerleading is not just cheerleading, like it is an actual sport. These students do like so much to their bodies, and they have to do crazy things, and it's just an amazing movie. And like I said, hilarious. I mean, goodness me. Coming in number 5 is When Harry Met Sally. Like I love any Nora Ephron movie. Nora Ephron is like the queen of romance to me. I love her movies. Like, gosh. When Harry Met Sally has Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal in it, and it's Harry and Sally, and they meet when they're in college, when they have to take like kind of a road trip together, like back home for the Christmas break, and like they don't really hit it off. They're like, you know, he's like, men and women can't be friends without having feelings involved, and she's like, yes, we can. She's like, yes, they can do that. And so they have this car trip, and they don't get along at all, and then years later they run into each other again. Harry is going through a divorce. Sally is kind of just, you know, in a relationship that's kind of not going anywhere, and what do you know, they become friends, and it's about their kind of years of being friends, and then by the end maybe it develops into something more. It is beautiful. I always recommend to watch this in the fall because there's a scene where they're walking through Central Park with the leaves in the fall. It's stunning. But again, it's got the classic diner scene. When Harry Met Sally is just, if you've like not watched it because you're like, everybody loves it, I don't think I'll love it. Trust me, I think you'll love it. It's just an amazing movie. Meg Ryan really ruled the rom-com world. I mean, I guess you could say she was kind of on the same page as Molly Ringwald with 16 Candles, Pretty in Pink, which are not on my list. I don't love them as much. Maybe because that's more 80s and I'm more of a 90s girl. It's got different tastes. See how it is there? Yeah, number 4 is not really a rom-com. I would classify it more as a chick flick, but it's got romance in it, so I'm gonna say it's okay. That is Mean Girls. Mean Girls is just, it's amazing. Tina Fey wrote it. Lindsay Lohan, of course. Rachel McAdams. Amanda Seyfried. It's just, I mean, gosh, I watch Mean Girls constantly. It is a movie I will put on the background when I'm working. Like, it's much like The Office for TV shows. It's much like The Office for like movies for me. I just love Mean Girls and will always watch it. I will never get sick of Mean Girls. It's hilarious. It's witty. It's just, it's got a little bit of romance in it, but it's mostly funny. Mean Girls is the jam. I mean, they even made a freaking Broadway like show about the movie, so I need to say I love it. Do I classify it as a rom-com? No, but it's my list and I feel like I can break the rules, right? Number 3. These are like my top, like I love these 3. Again, Number 3 is kind of in the same vein as Mean Girls. I don't really classify it as a rom-com, more of a chick flick, but again, I have to talk about it. And that is The Devil Wears Prada. Oh my gosh, I love this movie. Again, it's like a workplace movie. I adore those, like movies like Morning Glory, Julie and Julia, like where it's about them working in a profession and things like that. I just eat that crap up. Devil Wears Prada has Anne Hathaway in it, who is a very, you know, tomboy that doesn't really do much, and she works and she gets a job for like this really high fashion magazine as being the assistant to Miranda Priestley, who is Meryl Streep, and she's very, you know, like kind of Cruella de Vil almost, and Emily Blunt's in it as well. It is an amazing movie. I love this movie. Like, goodness me, I can still hear the ringtone that Miranda had set for Andy. That's Anne Hathaway's character. I love it. It's got Stanley Tucci in it. The Devil Wears Prada and Mean Girls are probably the two that I watch the most, like in the background and stuff, because I just adore them so much. They're like really good feel-good movies to me. Yeah, this one's not like romance. It's got romance in it, but it's more about like a workplace, you know, kind of a career movie. Again, I love those. Coming in at number 2 is the classic You've Got Mail. Another Nora Ephron classic. Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan, what more do you need? Again, the 90s. It is about Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, who are talking to each other via AOL. All of my OG AOL users out there, high five to you. I also had AIM. I also loved, like, oh gosh, I lived on AIM when I was in high school. Goodness. Before texting, there was AIM, and there was like MSN Messenger. Feel me. So anyway, Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan are talking to each other via AOL, like email, and they don't know who each other is in real life. Meg Ryan has a bookstore. Tom Hanks is the son of like this really big bookstore, and they're like moving. They're like making a huge bookstore that's going to kind of overtake Meg Ryan's little bookstore, and they become like kind of mortal enemies, but yet they don't know that they are talking to each other online, and it basically becomes, they become friends in real life more, and then they have the whole online thing. So You've Got Mail is a classic. Everybody, when they talk about a book or something that has two characters talking online, but they don't know they're talking online, but they know each other in real life, they always kind of say it's got that You've Got Mail feel. I always say that. I love You've Got Mail. And kind of amazing to watch in the fall months, at least to me. I adore it. I put it on constantly. Goodness, it's just one of my favorite romance stories of all time. Oh goodness, the end scene in the park with the dog. I can't get enough of it. Coming in at number 1 is, yes, my favorite romantic comedy, and it's also my favorite movie of all time, and that is 10 Things I Hate About You. Why is this my favorite movie of all time? That's not a good reason for it. I don't know. It's just a movie I fell in love with in high school, and I just continue to watch it a ton, and I continue to watch it, and I just love it from start to finish. I love it. It's just a classic high school movie to me. It's a take on a Shakespeare play. I forget which one, honestly. Maybe Taming the Shrew, I think, maybe. We have Julia Stiles, who is Kat, and Kat is very, you know, anti-high school, anti-popularity, because something happened to her in high school. And then we have her younger sister, Bianca, who was played, I don't know the actor's name, but she was Alex Mack on Nickelodeon, and she wants to be popular and things like that. Then we also have Heath Ledger, who gets paid to kind of like take out Kat, to kind of get her out so her younger sister can go out. And so kind of like a fake relationship happens, then they develop feelings. We also have Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this as well, and it's just an amazing movie. I love it so much. It is the quintessential high school movie, in my opinion, with a lot of romance in it, and it's very witty. The dialogue is so witty, which is probably why I love it. It's very smart for its time, in my opinion, and Julia Stiles is amazing in it. I can quote the movie from start to finish, the soundtrack, everything. I love it. So is it a rom-com? Yes, because the love story between Julia Stiles and Heath Ledger, with him on the stairs singing "You're Just Too Good to Be True." What more could a woman want? I mean, the paintball scene, gosh, I love it so much. So it'll always be my favorite movie, honestly, and it'll always be my favorite rom-com. That's just my opinion. Those are my favorite rom-coms, chick flicks, whatever you want to call them. I love them all dearly. Again, you may look at this list and scoff, because there's a lot that I didn't put on here, like Miss Congeniality, Legally Blonde, things like that. I like those, but I don't love those. Like, these 10 are the ones I watch consistently all the time. So that's what I had to kind of use as a guiding point for me. But yeah, I love them. I always will watch rom-coms from forever, honestly. So I would love to hear your top 10 rom-coms, chick flicks, things like that. If you want me to do a different video with a different genre of movies, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to do so. I'm not like a movie critic at all. I'm horrible at it because I love the sugary sweet books and I love the sugary sweet movies. That's just how I am. But needless to say, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.